Hi, today I want to talk to you about the monetary system for the next century and beyond. Basically, America was founded on the gold standard. The reason why we went on the gold standard was because we were upset with the British printing money and the king taxing the colonies for wars and stuff, and so we basically rebelled against the king and started our own country and stuff. So America was started on the gold standard. We were basically on the gold standard for about 100 years or so. Our founders didn't want a central bank. They were against central banks because they knew central banks would just print money and manipulate the value of every half of every transaction by inflating or deflating the value of the currency. Well, mostly it's inflation. They never ever really deflate our currency or whatever. Then so we went to, then we had a couple of stages of us slowly walking ourselves off of the gold standard, and all this finally accumulated, started in the 1913, and then later on in the 30s, and then finally in 1971, Nixon took us off the gold standard. And closed the gold window at the Federal Reserve. Basically, how we used to define money back in the ancient times was gold. Gold and silver were used as money, as direct barter. The actual physical metal they would use as coins, and they would barter. They would trade the coins with each other as money. And as we've progressed through time, when we started coming up with paper currency, I'll just talk about America. So the dollar was originally first defined by weight of gold. So $1 used to be defined as 1/20th of an ounce of gold. And that's how they used to pretty much measure the value of money, how much money you had. It wasn't a numerical value; it was by weight. They weighed it, and how rich you were was how much depended on how much weight you had in gold. Back in the days, they used to say. If you hear some movies, you might hear them say, I want my weight in gold if you want me to do something for you. And that weight in gold is pretty much how they define like $100,000 or $1 million. It wasn't $1 million or $100,000. It was a certain weight in gold or silver. In the metal. And basically, we've been on a fiat paper system. Our money hasn't been backed by a metal since 1971. Now, why? Why do we have? What's important about the gold standard? What's the significance of it? Well, the gold standard essentially does, or standard anything connected to a metal, basically what it does is it forces nation states to balance their books via it causes an equilibrium in the balance of payments. So say you export a lot of goods or whatever, you will receive a lot of money. But if you inflate, by inflating the currency, you allow for manipulation of the market, and you allow for cheaper. Say, okay, we'll take U.S. and China. So by us printing up a whole bunch of money and deflating our currency or inflating our currency, actually no, China inflates their currency more than us. So their currency is cheaper than ours. And so by them artificially keeping their currency cheap, they can export a whole lot more goods, and they can beat us via competition. If you just look at Solyndra, for example, which was an American-made crony capitalist company, or whatever. But they basically got a loan from the federal government back in like '09 or so to make what do you call that? Solar panels for houses to help store green energy or whatever, renewable energy and stuff like that. And basically what happened with China is they said, oh, you guys are giving out subsidies to green energy companies like Solyndra making solar panels. Fine, we'll do the same thing, and we'll print up money and hand it to our Chinese companies, and that way they can produce the same products that the American-made Solyndra can produce, the same panels and stuff, but at a cheaper cost, and we can turn around and sell them to everybody, every country in the world at a cheaper price, because our currency is cheaper, and we pay less in wages. So we're this is an example of the manipulation and byproducts or side effects or unintended consequences of currency manipulation and currency devaluation and of us getting off of the gold standard. Because if we were still on the gold standard, our companies wouldn't have been able to get away with exporting most of their jobs to China and stuff like that. It would have been a whole lot more blatant and obvious to the average man that his or her jobs were getting sent overseas and stuff. Instead of slowly dwindling over 30, 40 years, where most of our manufacturing is offshored, it would have been more blatant. But so let's talk about cryptocurrencies and how we can reintroduce hard money, sound money into the system. Well, first off, cryptocurrencies are free market money. No single individual is in charge of any cryptocurrency. Most cryptocurrencies are usually controlled by a computer algorithm ran via a software program that anybody can download off the internet and run on the computer. But the problem with cryptocurrencies and integrating them into an existing system without getting back onto a gold standard is it allows for manipulation of cryptocurrencies, and basically you can pyramid cryptocurrencies using the same system that we already have right now via margin. You can borrow on margin and put that borrowed money into cryptocurrency, and that is basically inflation via it's an inflationary effect on cryptocurrency, hard money, which is kind of an unintended consequence. So in order for us to I don't even want to say we need to get back to the gold standard, especially for nation states. Nation states, and we need to abolish central banks and if we're not getting rid of the dollar, if the dollar is gonna still stick around, and we don't directly switch over to all cryptocurrencies, then there's gonna need to be some kind of mechanism to keep the government from inflating dollars and just pumping them into cryptocurrencies and artificially pyramiding cryptocurrencies and manipulating them that way via a back door. It's in essence a back door. And so we need to, nation states and central banks need to, and the people need to rise up and reject fiat currencies and printing presses, period. Basically what we can do is eliminate the income tax, also eliminate taxes on profits of gold and silver, because you can't pay a profit on gold and silver. If you buy the actual metal, this is right here. It's an ounce of silver. It's basically the poor man's gold. If you can't pay a tax on this. I paid for this. Now, if I turn around and barter it and got some goods with this as money, then say I bought some groceries or something, I can't pay taxes on that because I traded this for a good. How can I pay taxes on that? And right now, the way laws are written, I would in essence be liable for the difference of the value of goods that I got for trading this from what I paid to get this coin. And basically we need to eliminate those taxes, because you can't pay that tax. It's redundant, it's ridiculous. You can't do it. Like you can't cut this up unless I got a fucking furnace or something and I can melt it down. So I don't know how you can tax this. It's a fucking metal. It's a coin. It's a metal. So what we need to do is reject. Well, I can't say need because I don't believe in forcing my beliefs on anybody. But I think the only way to fix our problems is to go back to a sound monetary system, and whether that's a hybrid system of a gold standard for the nation state and free money, free market, hard sound money, without pyramiding effects of margins, and being able to borrow fiat currency and transfer it into sound currency or sound money. That's a pyramid effect. That's inflation via backdoor. That's another type of fractional reserve banking system, and we need to reject fiat and the fiat system of a printing press and paper money, and also fractional reserve banking system of being able to pyramid debt and pyramid debt and money, and artificially inflate the value thereof.